You need to know that your story is important and that you're part of a bigger story. You need to know that your life matters. You were created to love and be loved. You were meant to live life in relationship with other people, to know and be known. God is still moving today. He's in the business of redemption. He's in the business of restoration. So many people say that they have nothing to give, but that isn't true. You have your story.
I'd been married about a year, and we decided we wanted to start having children. And she became pregnant with our first child. 7 weeks into the pregnancy, she had a miscarriage. We tried again in '97, and she got pregnant then, and we had another miscarriage.
We were pretty devastated at that point. After the second one was pretty hard.
In 1998, we found out we were pregnant with a boy. About 2 weeks before having him, she started having some complications. We went in to the hospital and they did an ultrasound and found out he didn't have a heartbeat.
Went through 9 hours of labor with my mom right beside me, holding my hand, praying the whole time. And it was difficult for me, but with prayer, it happened really fast, because they told me it would probably take 24 hours for me to have him, and it only took 8 to 9 hours.
Had all his fingers, all his toes, head full of hair. William Isaac, and he didn't make it. In 1999, we were pregnant for the 4th time, this time with a little girl. And she was born November the 10th, 1999, and her name is Rachel. She was 2 months premature, but she turned out to be pretty healthy.
She was in the hospital 6 weeks, and we brought her home right at Christmas time. It was the best Christmas present I've ever had in my life.
LeAnna and I always decided that we wanted 2 kids at least. 14 months later, surprise, we found out we were pregnant again with a little girl.
It was just perfect. We were excited. This one was, we were going to carry this one full term. It was going to happen.
But 28 weeks into the pregnancy, we found out there's a possibility there could be some complications in it. The day came when LeAnna was going to have to go have the cesarean, and when she was in the surgery room, they did the C-section, and there were some complications that took place.
I just remember everybody being around me, so excited, and just the possibilities of this normal pregnancy, normal delivery, and then everything changed.
She lost a lot of blood in a short period of time, and they wound up having to put her in ICU, and she wouldn't stop bleeding.
I woke up and there were IVs everywhere and just people surrounding me, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't see anybody, and finally they let William come in to see me, and nobody was telling me anything, and I was scared. I didn't know what was going on.
Her blood pressure had dropped to 60/20. She had blood from her shoulders down to her knees on the bed. And the doctor basically looked at us and said, "There's not much more we can do. We're doing everything we can to keep her alive." The only thing we had left was prayer. I was devastated at first, and that's my best friend laying there. And I didn't want to lose her. We'd already been through so much already. I knew all I I could do was find a place where I could talk to God. So I went to the ICU restroom and locked the door, and I laid on the floor on my face, and I basically just begged God, please don't take my wife. I didn't care about the bathroom floor. I didn't care if it was dirty. I just knew I was in my mind trying to find a way to humble myself as low as I could get in my mind for God to hear me.
All I could think of is my 2-year-old and my newborn baby that I hadn't even got to hold. And thinking of what their life would be like without me.
I don't care, God. I want to just be totally laid out here before you, because I need you to hear me. I need you to hear what I'm saying. And I cried out. I was like, God, take me. Don't take her.
And I just hysterically lost it. I was crying and pleading with God and thinking about my children and them having a life without me. And I told God, they can't have a life without me, and I don't want them to have a life without me.
I know that while I was in the bathroom praying, that Pastor Donnie was in the ICU room with LeAnna, and his heart was broken as well. And he just laid over her stomach and just told God, you can't take her. You can't. You can't do it. And I believe God heard the prayers. I really did. I got up and unlocked the door of the restroom and walked down the hall. And as I'm walking down the hall, Pastor Donnie meets me down the hall, and he says, she's going to be okay by the morning. And it's like I could hear God saying at that moment, now that the doctors can't do anything, I'm about to show you what I can do. And moments after that, the doctor comes running down the hall. He says, they have a room open in Houston for her. We're going to life flight her. And everything just happened so fast after that.
The next thing I know, I was in the helicopter, and when I remember when they got me out of the helicopter and took me by ambulance to the hospital.
I jump in her mother's vehicle and we head to Houston. We get to St. Luke's Hospital, and I go upstairs to ICU. Around the corner, I walk into the room, and there's LeAnna sitting up in the bed, and her blood pressure is 125/75.
And the doctor came in, and he looked at my chart and looked at me, and he said, what are you doing here? Why did they send you over? Because you're okay. There's nothing wrong with you.
That moment was awesome, to know that God's hand moved in a big, big way. Rebecca is still at the hospital in the nursery. She doesn't have a clue what's going on, but even after all this, we were so ready to get back and get her to spend time with our new daughter.
I was supposed to die, but God heard my prayer, my husband's prayer, my pastors, my family, everyone in our church, everyone in the area that was praying for us. And because they prayed, I'm alive. I'm alive.
You're alive.
I'm alive.
I'm glad you're alive.